Hi, my name is Stephany Guzman, also known as the Broker Steph, and I am a guest on the Youngest in the Yacht Club podcast.
You only get paid commission? I could never. Have you ever thought of getting a real job? Look, mama made it. Driver's new Mercedes. Never missed a payment, I'm a real estate agent. No man's at home, so why can't I be your baby? I know that shit gets crazy, but I swear my life's amazing. Look, mama made it. Driver's new Mercedes. Never missed a payment, I'm a real estate agent. No man's at home, so why can't I be your baby? I know that shit gets crazy, but I swear my life's amazing.
They want the money and fame. We go to the city and we don't be tucking our chain. Woke up in paradise and we live in the drain. I know it won't be the same. Someone go puro cocaine. Fly Latino gang.
I used to dream of something like this. Remember times I was doing.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. I am Vince Serrano. I've got Stephany Guzman here today.
Hi.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I try to say it like American.
No. Guzman.
Guzman. Okay. Stephany, a lot of people, when we're on Youngest in the Yacht Club, a lot of people, we've had some very, very powerful women, right? And we're all about women empowerment. And the reason why I feel like you were on the show, or you need to be on the show, is because I feel like you kind of do the same thing. Who is Stephany Guzman?
So, just a little background about me. I am a single mom of 2 kids. I've had great support from my parents. And I own a brokerage that is women-owned, obviously, and women-operated.
What's the name of that brokerage?
Homesphere Realty.
Ooh, yes. Where'd you get the name Homesphere?
So when I first started out in real estate, I had a team. So I had the title company that I used, that I repetitively sent business to them. And then I had the home insurance person. So everybody that played a key role as far as getting that transaction completed, I had that whole sphere. So I'm we sell homes and I have this sphere. So Homesphere Realty.
Fire.
Yeah.
So you said, and I'm glad that we're talking about that. You said it's women owned.
Yes.
How does that work?
So as far as being woman-owned, obviously, it's a lot of responsibility, especially because all of our agents are women. And so just think about dealing with lots of women.
Yes.
Luckily, the agents that I have at Homesphere, they're amazing, very empowering women, and that's why they're there, because we align.
That's awesome.
As far as what we want in life, our goals. We all have the same values, and that's super important in order, to grow as a team.
That's awesome. What made you get in, what made you want to start a brokerage, or what made you want to get into real estate, period?
So my parents have been investors for many years.
Okay.
And my very first job was working for the City of Tampa Housing Department. So I was 18 years old.
Which one? What is the City of Tampa? You worked for the housing development?
Section 8.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you was at I was like, what, Rose Park, Tampa, Tampa Park.
So our office was actually on Main Street when I started working for them. So we were across the street from North Boulevard.
Yeah, there you go.
And yeah.
I'm from those areas, so
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. The only downfall was because I was so young. A lot of the clients didn't respect me, but it was a great learning experience. So I started to learn about housing in the low income areas, and that was while I was going to USF. So I was getting my degree in engineering. And then after I left there, I went to work for Tampa Electric, and that was still real estate related because I worked for their engineering department.
wow.
For People's Gas. And then from there on, my mom started doing a lot of deals, and she's like, just get your real estate license. And I'm like, yeah, I should. So I got my real estate license, and we started doing real estate, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have been doing this whole time.
Yeah. You learn.
Yeah,
It's
you do.
crazy that you work for Tampa Electric and I'm in solar.
Yeah, I know, right?
I didn't even know that. You're working for the man.
Yeah,
But
man.
it's all good because I feel like that's important because you got a lot of life experiences
Yeah,
and
for
see
sure.
those things. So obviously, where are you from? Where does Stephany Guzman, where does she come from?
So I was born in Colombia. My family's Colombian, and we moved to New Jersey when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
So it was just me and my dad that moved. And then my mom stayed behind, and we were there for 6 months until it snowed. And then my dad's like, what is this? We packed up all of our stuff and moved down to Florida.
After the first snowstorm.
Literally, it wasn't even like a snowstorm. It was just like the little drizzle of the snow.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we
That's
needed.
all you need to know.
Gone.
This is not for me.
Nope. He's like, no, we can't do this. We need to move somewhere tropical. And so we moved to Tampa when I was 6 years old. So we've been here ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where'd you go to school at? Like what high school did you graduate from?
So we grew up in the like Timberlane area, town and country area. And then we ended up moving to like the Citrus Park area. So I went to Sickles High School. All of my friends had gone to Alonzo, and I was so heartbroken because it was like a new community that we just had moved into. But I was a pretty bad kid for the most part.
You were?
I was a bad kid. Yeah, I was a really
this is
bad
what
kid.
we want to know. Youngest in the Yacht Club, we want to know, okay, you're up here, they see the Yacht Club. Who is this? What do you mean a bad kid? How?
I used to be fighting all the time.
You?
Yeah, I got arrested for fighting all the time.
Why?
I
do not
feel
look
like
maybe, I mean, you don't be looking like.
today I don't look like that.
No, I'm saying like you be throwing hands like.
Yeah, no, I was just like this kid that was always angry for I don't know what reason. And my friends were, one of my best friends, Anna, we were the same. We always went to fight the world for I don't know why. Our parents were a bit strict, so I feel like that did play like a big role in why I was that way. But luckily I got it out of my system while I was young, you know, to calm down and not be so aggressive as I got older.
For
but
sure.
yeah, it was
the
definitely
testosterone levels was I don't know if you have testosterone, I don't know, but I'm just saying like it you know, the crazy part about, do you feel like the youth, like, do you feel like, and you have kids, you said you're a single parent mom, do you see any of the resemblance in your?
I do. My daughter's attitude problem. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that little Stephany basically?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, you don't look like me, but you sure act like me.
That's good to know. It's good to know. Yeah. So you graduated from Sickles, went to USF.
I went to HCC.
HCC.
And got my associate's degree there in liberal arts because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was like thinking of going into like criminal justice or something, but then I was like, no, this is not my thing. But then when I graduated HCC is when I realized like, okay, I want to go into something engineering related.
What was what like for the people who like future engineers, what interested you in engineering?
I feel like it was more like the knowledge behind of how things come about. So, you look at these buildings and it's like, how did they even think? Like, how did they know how big the lot had to be in order to build this, And it's like all those things that are involved and everything that goes under the ground in order to make this building operate. And so like now in real estate, that's something that I understand a little better because I have that background. So like when we're dealing with clients that are building new construction homes, it's like, I know what these colors mean. These flags that are blue are for water. This is for the electric. The plumbing is going to be ran through here. And just like having that knowledge and being able to share that with our clients, makes them feel a little more secure. They're like, oh, wow, she knows what she's talking about. So it's a great advantage to have that.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is because when do you ever feel like people judge you?
Yeah, all the time.
What do they judge you on?
I feel like most people judge me based off social media. So like I've heard people say like that I come off like this bossy, woman. That's like not very, that I don't have like I guess easy to talk to.
You're not very approachable.
Yes. Which when people get to know me, they're like, "Oh my God, like you're the complete opposite."
You're solid.
Yeah,
like,
which is sad, but people can judge you based off what you post on social media. And
do you be posting boss lady stuff?
I'm very prideful in what I've done as far as my work and growing my brokerage and being a good leader and seeing my agents, because of this work that I have put in, they're doing great. So I do take pride in that. So, I do post, things that are other people may take as I'm being,
pretentious.
Yeah. But it's just me sharing with others their success and my success.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have to downplay that sometimes.
Absolutely not.
Do you feel like people judge you off your looks?
Yeah.
So my wife, I feel like they do the same thing with her. So that's why I asked that. And what do you do? Like now that people know that you're like, you got engineering background, like, and that's the biggest thing is like, like I'm not just a pretty face. Right?
Yeah. And so because I've had clients that they're kind of like iffy with me at the beginning, especially the wives. And I always try to be very professional. I've never had a situation like that, I've had issues with clients, but once I start sharing knowledge with them, they have a different outlook on me.
They trust you.
Yes, they trust me and they see me different, which is very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you start getting in, let's explain the process of. Well, let's do this. You're not just you're not just in real estate. Mm-hmm. You are a broker.
Right.
What's the difference?
So the difference of a regular real estate agent to a real estate broker is that a broker has had more education. So we do have to take a test in order to retrieve our broker's license. And that gives us the opportunity to open up our own real estate company and have other agents hang their license under us. So I guess in short terms, it would be, just a more experienced agent.
All right. Do you have to be does leadership have to be?
Not necessarily. You do have to have 2 years in real estate in order to be able to apply for that broker's license. I know tons of regular agents that, have their broker's license. They become broker associates with at the brokerage that they're at because they don't want to, have that responsibility of opening a whole company, but still want to play a role, some type of leadership role.
What made you how important is leadership in?
Leadership is the most absolutely important thing to me. So before opening up my brokerage, I was under another brokerage company that I was lost. In order for me to, have a question answered, like I couldn't find anybody, or they get back to me within 2 days.
Yeah, and you're trying to get
in 2 days. The house is already sold by then. Like I don't need your assistance at that point. And so really no structure. So because of all those situations that I had, I knew that when it was my time to open up my brokerage, these are the things that I would not do. And at times it can be a little bit overwhelming because I do try to be very available, but I have to be involved.
Yeah.
Having to be, there for them when they need me, because that's what's going to make us, a successful transaction.
For sure. Or a successful business, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without leadership, you said it, it's everything. Without it, there's nothing there.
Yep.
And the reason why I asked that, I kind of led in that question because my wife works with you. So it's important for me to kind of, those key points that I feel are big because, we come home and she talks to me about what's gone on through the day. And, that's why you're on here. Like, you're an awesome leader. She looks at that. And I think, my wife stands for women empowerment. She stands for having your own identity. And then to see that the person that she's following as a leader, like you're also like magnifying those things. And I think that's big. How do you deal with, I want to kind of talk to you about this. How do you deal with having an all women brokerage? Like, are there any discrimination issues?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
Actually, I can say that we have such a good team.
Okay.
Like all of the girls get along together. The majority of us are all moms. So, we're all, we have kids to take care of. We don't have time for drama and I don't tolerate drama at all.
Good.
The moment that any little situation comes, I shut it down quickly. Because And I tell them all the time, I'm like, we are a team. At the end of the day, you don't know if you're going to need another agent to cover you for showing or, you're out of town.
Right.
So why not continue to, mix in with everybody, participate,
Right.
build those friendships with everybody else.
Support people.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
big. That's big. So would you hire a dude? I mean, you don't have to answer that because I don't want you in trouble. But I'm saying, like, not even that. Let me rephrase the question to kind of not ask that question like that because I don't. It's not just about hiring men. We got to be all the way inclusive. But like, is there a certain type of person that you're looking for?
And so I'm going to give you a little background on why
Okay.
I'm all for the women empowerment.
Awesome.
So when I decided to open up my brokerage, I was doing really great in real estate. I had tons of deals. I had a really good system in place, and I started to get overwhelmed. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should start with a team. So I opened up a small team still under that broker that I could never get a hold of. And it was me and 2 other agents. Then I realized, why are we paying this broker that is non-existent, that doesn't do nothing for us? Let me just open up my own. So as that's happening, me and my ex-husband separated, and I filed for divorce.
Wow.
And so through that time, it was very challenging for me, because I decided to do this. And it's like, I'm the type of person that when I start something, I'm going to finish it. I'm not going to half-ass it. So I couldn't let these 2 other girls down that are still waiting on me, to move forward with this plan that we had. And through that time, I always thought, like, I'm not going to make it if he doesn't support me. Like, if he doesn't have my back, like, am I going to be able to do this? And so being able to do it with not having that support, just like empowered me. And so, I want to be able to share that with other people. Like, you can do whatever you want to do, and I can help you become successful through real estate. I can lead you down that path. So that's why I'm so like avid about it, and I'm so passionate, because a lot of the other girls that are part of the brokerage have gone through similar situations, or a single mom with kids, and they just feel like, oh, I can't do this. And it's like, no, you can do this. Like, we can figure it out. And I've sat down with them one-on-one, and let's sit down. Let's make a plan. Why? What is holding you back from being able to do these things? And we figure it out.
That's awesome. It's an awesome story. And it's dope to see that it was a challenging for you, but you couldn't let anybody else down. And so I feel like as a leader, sometimes that's part of the biggest thing, right? What was it for you, or was it for them? I mean, it was for everybody, right?
For everybody.
But
having that weight, like knowing that these girls are depending on me to, move forward, and I'm not going to let them down.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Fire. Gems. What would you say to somebody who wants to get into the industry? What are a couple, what are some of those things? You said that you could help people be successful. What are you, what for someone who's aspiring to get into real estate, what would you say?
I would definitely say that this is a tough market. It really is. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. And I don't like to discourage people just because of, it's a sales job pretty much. And it's really about relationships. That's awesome. 90% of my business is just through relationships with people. So definitely, if that's something that you want to do, go for it, And I feel like everybody has their special niche, whatever it is. And nobody can do that like you can. So as long as you keep pushing through, and then, you figure out what it is that, your niche is, you'll be successful.
That's fire. That's fire. Go out there. Stephany, where can they, obviously, where can they find Homesphere? We're not done yet, but I want to know, where can they find, if they wanted to go for jobs, or they wanted to, get some insight from you, how could they contact you?
Yeah. My Instagram is @thebrokersteph, or our company Instagram is @myhomesphere, and then our website, homesphererealty.com.
That's awesome. Are you currently actively looking for real estate agents?
I am actively looking for real estate agents.
What are the requirements? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I have, as of right now, just because it's a great problem to have, to be a little bit, busy. We have a lot going on. I'm working on building 2 of my agents as team leaders.
Fire.
So we can add more people. Because it is just me, and we have 12 agents right now, it's hard to divide my time to all those 12 people.
For sure.
So I have spoken with them, and they know what my plan is.
Right.
So once that time comes, then we will definitely be taking on new agents, because it does require more time. You want to be able to be there for them and help them from the beginning to end. But as far as experienced agents, I am currently hiring experienced agents.
That's fire. And I like the fact that you're being selective with who you're, you just can't walk in off the street and think you're going to come in.
No. And so that's something, so our group meets once a month for 1 hour, and it's always the first Friday of the month. And, I just tell the girls, I take my time and I pour into you guys. So whenever I'm hiring somebody new, are you going to be pouring in as well? I can't just be sitting here filling you up and then that's it. No, you got to do your part too.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem with a lot of people, that they do 0% work and want 100% back. And it's it doesn't work that way. No, it doesn't. Just because you got your license and you're there's more that you have to do. So it's finding people that align with how we do things has been a little bit challenging.
That's but it's supposed to be, like you said, it's a good problem to have. You got 12 people, like for you to be doing that and then developing other leaders. That's good. And then you recently also had to acquire other brokerages and help people out, right? That's
absolutely, yeah.
How does that feel, like knowing that people can trust you to, to kind of like call on you?
I honestly that day, so he just called me and he's like, "Hey, Steph, so my dad passed away, and I'm not a broker, and we do have agents in our office, and I want to know if you would take the role." And I was like, "I guess."
That's crazy.
And I'm like, "Do you need an answer right now?" "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Let's do it. We'll figure it out. Whenever we figure it out, but let's have me take the role on, and then we'll figure out everything later." And we did.
And how does that like say the younger you or another person like you is going through the same situation or like following your footsteps, knowing that that's the future, or that could be, what advice would you give, to your younger self? Like,
don't listen to what other people have to say. Because I remember when I was opening up Homesphere, other real estate agent friends of mine kept telling me like, "Oh my God, do you know how many brokerages are out there? You're competing with these big names and these brokerages that have all these people, and it's going to be tough for you." And I'm like, okay, I'm not looking at my competition. Like, there is enough for everybody. And I just feel like when you meet people, especially when you have a brand new client, when you make that connection with them, like I have one specific client that she's selling $1 million home with me. Other agents have come to interview with her. I don't really know her like that. Like, we've just had good conversations, and, I've shared my experience, but she even told me like a couple of days ago, she's like, "Oh, another agent came by." And I told them like, "No, I want to work with her because she's just a genuine person." So, it's just like, if you stay true to yourself and you believe in your brand, you're going to be successful. You're going to make it.
That's fire. And that's important to know. I think not just in real estate, right? But in
in business.
Anything, right? Yeah. Believing in yourself and staying true to yourself. Absolutely. Do you see people losing themselves?
I do.
Now I'm a dude, right? So I'm a guy. I like, oh, he acting fake, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's how you would be, but like, how do you bring somebody or like tell people like, or even notice that that's happening? Have you ever thought that you were losing yourself?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been pretty focused on like my goals and what I want in life, especially because I have my babies.
Awesome.
Maybe at the very beginning when I was opening up the brokerage, because of all the emotions of going through a divorce and stuff, at times I had my days where I would just cry. But going back to what you asked, I've seen, I could say somebody in a specific that comes to mind that works with me, amazing girl, and I see all the potential, but their partner brings them back, kind of holds them back, doesn't provide that support that they need. And that's so important, that you're surrounding yourself with the right people, because who you surround yourself with, they're either going to help you grow or they're going to hold you back. And it's sad because she's an amazing person, a very sweet girl and very knowledgeable. But, not having that support from that partner that just keeps holding her back. And
it's definitely like, it's sad to see, right?
It is. And even if I point it out, it's like she doesn't see it. So
let's ask this though, right? You going through that divorce, because a lot of people, right, that's like a failure or something. And I without touching too deep into it, but like, how did that, like you said, there were days that you just cried. How did you persevere through that, right? Like, I think everybody's dream is to get married, have kids, and, dog and house. And
absolutely.
How did you not let that hold you back? Or what forced you to move and say, look, I'm better by myself?
There was a lot of things that had happened prior to the very last situation. And I honestly saw that our relationship was not going to get any better. And as heartbreaking as that was, I mean, it was time to let go. And I was with him for almost 10 years. And we do share 2 beautiful kids, and he is a phenomenal father.
Awesome.
And it just, didn't work out as far as a couple. But going through all those challenges, I to be honest with you, I just got really close to God. And God, I mean, my mom is a huge prayer warrior. And, we would wake up every day and just pray and just asking God to give me strength every single day, until one day I really felt like I was healed. Like he really just healed my heart, and I could just like move on, and just, I was at peace with the situation. And I think that's like when somebody's going through like that time, a time of tribulation, like that is the most important, to ask God for peace. Because once you have that peace, you can move on with your life. If you're still hurting, you're still going to be crying. You're still going to be thinking about it. And that can hold you back. It really can hold you back from doing future things.
Yeah, I think those situations, like divorce, or, it's, it could be breaking up with a girlfriend, or breaking up with a business partner, or certain friendships that move down, right? Those things could hold you back and wonder why me? What did I do? And to see that you said, like, pray about it, like believe in your faith, and ask for that strength to keep going and doing that. It's big. It's huge. It's huge to see. And I think that it's important to kind of like put those, like tell people, especially who are watching. So let's get to the glitz and glam a little bit. All right. Okay. So you have a business, right? Yeah. You have your kids. Do you consider yourself successful?
I do.
Awesome. Why do you consider yourself successful, and how do people, like, at what point? It doesn't have to be a dollar amount. Does it have to be a dollar amount? What is success to you?
Success to me is being able to spend my time with my kids whenever I can. So a lot of people put a dollar amount to success. And it's like, yeah, I can have all this money, but if I'm working 24/7 and can't spend that money, what are you really doing? Is that really success? Just having a good balance. So I just feel like, I'm successful because I can take time off to spend time with my children. I can, go to their games or whatever it is that they have going on. And that to me is real success.
What would you consider successful for other people? Like for people in your brokerage?
A lot of them probably money.
Yeah.
Which is important because, we don't live, free.
Right.
But a lot of them more materialistic things, obtaining, nicer cars, nicer houses, which is great. And, those are wonderful goals to have. I just feel like right now in my life, that's not really,
right.
a priority.
Being there for your kids is more.
That is what success is to me, that having that time.
And so being a mom is super important to you.
Absolutely.
What in order to be, where did you get that from? Did you get that from your parents? Did you get that from TV?
So actually, my mom has always been a stay-home mom. And I feel like at times my parents kind of look at me and they're like, she's doing like the most. And my dad has told me, he's like, you're always doing the most. And I'm like, well, Dad, we live in a different generation. Back in the day, like you could live off one household income, and the wife was at home and cooked the meals and all that, took care of the kids. I'm like, but we don't live like that anymore. Generations have changed, and we can, do all these things as women. We have more opportunities as women. So I did not get that from my parents. It was more like what I wanted. I feel like when I was younger, I was a people pleaser, and it was just like following the crowd and what everybody else is doing. And like, as I got older, I found myself. And I feel like I really did at the end of my 20s, like, what do I want to do? I'm just not here to be a mom and have kids and, have a husband. Like, what are my goals? And then I really found myself and found my passion that I wanted to do this. So yeah, I did not get that from my parents.
Okay, yeah. It's cool to see that though, right? Because, you see people following the footsteps, right? And then when they actually realize, like, hey, look, like, that's not me. They changed the direction. It's like, yo, you could do, it doesn't have to come from there. Now, obviously, your mom has been there. She's taught you how to do things. She helps. Yes. helps you. Got good family, obviously, but being able to go out there and kind of change and create your own path, right? That's important.
Absolutely, yes.
So what's next for Stephany Guzman? What's next? What's the next?
So, our brokerage is growing, which is great. So as far as like when it comes to, business, I want to continue growing. My goal this year is to have 25 agents by the end of the year. And for, the girls that I've picked out to kind of step up to be team leaders, to take on that role very seriously and start, recruiting agents under them and growing their teams. Because at the end of the day, that seeing them be successful makes me the happiest person on this planet.
It also makes you successful too.
Absolutely. So if they're making money, I'm making money, and we're all happy. I have also partnered up with a business partner friend of mine and my sister, and we opened up a title company. So
that's big.
It is. It's amazing.
What's the name of the title company?
It is called the Title Pros.
Okay, Title Pros.
Yes. So we already, launched most of the things. We're all getting our licenses and all that.
How does that help you?
So it helps us as far as, for one, I feel like, because I already took the title class, and it just made me understand so many other things that happen as far as the transaction from beginning to close. So as real estate agents, we're just, helping these families find their dream home or sell their home and relocate them somewhere else. But we don't know what else happens. Like, how does this all come about? So having this knowledge, I've been able to share that with my girls at Homesphere, so they can also understand the process, because sometimes we have clients that have questions and we don't know. So like having that, that knowledge is super important. But it's also, another way to make good money.
And keep everything in-house too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're just expanding. That expansion for yourself is like, that's that move, right?
Yes. And I feel like having that all tied in together, like, we shouldn't have as many issues as we traditionally do have, because we do come across many issues with other title companies. So yeah, just having it all in-house will definitely be great for us. So that's the next thing that will kind of be up and running, hopefully within the next couple of months. And then acquiring the new brokerage that I acquired. We're talking about keeping it open, because I'm in place right now as a temporary broker. And so we're going to, kind of see what the future plans for that is.
Yeah, that'll get you to that 25 real fast, right?
Yeah, for sure. But that's a different culture.
Okay.
And so, at Homesphere, it's, all the girls, and I'm sure people go on our Instagram and they see like all the pretty girls, and there's just so much more involved to just the pretty girls that are selling houses. But, my heart has been so set on them, on empowering them and leading them, that with this other brokerage that I acquired is different, because, it's women and men mixed. So it'll be a different culture dynamic. Yeah.
How does culture play a role in what you're doing? So we talked about leadership, and so Younger City Yacht Club, they see the glitz, they see the glam, but they don't see what's behind the scenes. They don't see the journey, right? So that's what we want to kind of put those. How important is culture to you? Because you said it.
So culture is super important to me, because I always want everybody to be comfortable. And so I feel like the culture that I've created at Homesphere, of all these girls, getting together, we do things together. We go to networking events together. We do workshops. We actually just did our vision board workshop together at the office.
You guys did that yourself?
Yeah. We did some great boards. Took us a little while, but yeah, it's just great to have that. So because I've created this comfortability of a culture within us, we can do stuff like that and, share not only business, but also our personal life within each other. And so with the new brokerage, it's, I'm not going to be so involved, more just like the role is there, but not as involved as I am in Homesphere as far as like leading. They have leaders in place, and they have a whole system.
Right.
So they've been around for a very long time. For us, we're still 2.5 years in.
Right. So you're growing.
Yes.
But you're implementing that culture. I've never heard. Myself and my wife have done our own vision boards. Other people would be like, "Oh, that's that spiritual stuff, right? That's that, right? People would be like, that stuff doesn't work." But to see you implementing those little things, I've never seen that or heard that. Maybe I have. Maybe at the best companies, maybe like at Apple, at Google. But to hear it being done at a brokerage, it's amazing. What inspired you to do that?
So me and Jenny, we're so big on manifestation.
What is that? Because people aren't going to know all the time.
Manifesting is pretty much saying it out into the world, into the universe of these things that you want to happen to you. And so we kind of laugh about it sometimes because she'll say something like, you know, I manifested that if I get these balloons, like I'm going to get all these people at this open house. And I'm like, yes, got to keep manifesting it. And so as silly as that sounds, it's so true. You know, if you're going out there with a negative mind that, oh my gosh, nobody's going to come to my open house. Nobody's going to come to your open house. And so we got so into this cycle of always just manifesting and sharing it with each other. Because, yeah, you can think about it in your mind, but if you're not saying it, you're not manifesting it. You need to really say it. So she'll come to me and she'll manifest something to me, and I'll do the same with her. And so then I thought I'm like, why don't we get together and create a vision board, and let's put all of these things that we want to manifest for 2023 year. And everybody loved it. And we put on there personal things that we want to accomplish, business things that we want to accomplish, and it was great. And just having it there in front of you, reminding you, like, remember, you said you wanted to do that, so let's make sure we get it done.
Yeah, I mean, she's already knocking off one of those things about redoing the garage.
I know. Oh, I know.
Literally.
Playing no games.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no game. I'm like, oh, that's funny. That was about to be crossed off right now. She had me in there the whole weekend, man.
I know. I know. She sent me pictures.
Yeah. And I feel like, right, an idea is something that's in your head. It's suggested. Maybe it's going to happen. But a plan is something that's actually written out. It's actually a blueprint. Goals are actually a detailed plan on what to achieve. And when you're putting those things out and you're saying it, a lot of people can say stuff and talk and make their mouth fried chicken, but when you actually put it down on the paper, you'll start to see those things come about. And I feel like it's important. Again, Steph, that's why I think that you're an awesome guest. It's not just because you're here and just because you're a good friend. You deserve the right to be your story to be shared. You've gone through a lot and you've seen a lot, and I feel like you're a perfect candidate for perseverance, a perfect candidate for leadership, culture, and a leader, because like I said, my family is seeing you. So I just want to, sometimes we got to give people their flowers. I don't think I've got the chance to give you them. Right.
I appreciate it.
But not just that, like you're doing it for not just, yourself, but you're doing it for other people. So continue to do those things. What would you, I like to say, when we close out, there's a gem that we want to give, to the people on Youngest in the Yacht Club. What gem could you give somebody?
It would be, so just a little background on why I'm going to say this. I started reading this book that I'm sure Jenny has shared with you. It's called Atomic Habits. And that book, when I tell you guys, has changed my life with the way that I do things, because I feel like 100% of everything that we do in life is due to the habits that we have in place in our life. And I had a huge habit of always being late everywhere that I go. And I didn't realize it until people started pointing it out, how it was disrespectful, that I was not being considerate of other people's time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to change this. Then I got a hold of that book and I started to read this book, and I was like, that's the first habit I got to change. This has got to go. I cannot be late anymore. And just with those small things that you start to change, then you start changing bigger things. And then next thing you know, you have a whole new lifestyle that you're living. And so what I want to tell people is look into your habits, because even those habits that you have that you think are okay, they're not. And those, even if you just start with the smallest little thing that you can change, a year from now, it's going to make a huge difference.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you brought that book out, because I'm reading it too.
It's a good book, right? It's a very good book.
Yep. It's true. You start off with something small, and then by the time you have a whole different lifestyle, because you've changed the little things and you've realized that, man, I could do this. Oh wait, this isn't so bad either. I can change this and change this and change that. So awesome. Steph, will you tell people where they can find you again? Like find Homesphere Realty, all those things?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram. My personal Instagram is @thebrokersteph. Homesphere is @myhomesphere. We're on Facebook as well, Homesphere Realty. And then our website is homesphererealty.com.
Awesome. And for those people who want to get, want to be part of the team or want to apply to be part of the team,
Yeah, they can definitely reach out to me. Send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to chat.
Awesome. Thank you for having us, Steph. Big time.
Thank you.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.